So I noticed this, even with and I've just been trained in the circle of security just in December. So I've been a mental health professional for 30 years, and I didn't have this idea of this circle. And to me now I see it everywhere. My 19-year-old is away at college, and every now and then he calls and he's ranting and raving about something, right? He's a child that goes from here to here, very intense, big emotions. And so I still have to kind of manage that, help him manage it. Oh my gosh, I realize, your school sucks. Yes, it completely sucks. Everything about it sucks, the mind of a 19-year-old, But it's going to get better. Let's try to solve the problem, that kind of thing. So I just love this idea. I love the idea of temperament, of really kind of understanding our own temperaments, of the people around us, knowing that it takes all kinds. And it's all just who we are. It's all who we are. If we can just accept that for ourselves and accept ourselves for who we are, I'm a raving bitch sometimes. And then I can come back and say, I'm sorry, And again, like with our friends, with our being a parent, if we can be humble, if we can realize when we've made mistakes, and come back and say, oh my gosh, that was really insensitive of me. I'm really sorry. I didn't think of you at the time. Whatever it is, right? If we can be humble and say we're sorry, it doesn't fix everything. You can't be a total jerk and just be, that's one thing about certain realms of Christianity, that you're just forgiven for anything. Well, let's try to be a better person along the way, So anyway, it's been a great life's work. I really love emotions. I loved how people tick. I do have a good sense of empathy and have, grown with it over the years. And, if we can all just kind of be gentle to each other, I think that's, is the answer to a lot of things, right? And especially to our little ones, because right now they're in crisis, a lot of them. And we just need to kind of hold them and be there for them and help them kind of manage their way through. So that's my piece.
Love it, Camille. I love that idea. I love this idea too that, we can do that for ourselves then, right? Understand, feeling all the feels. Understand that I'm frustrated right now, or I'm sad, or I'm angry, or whatever, and being able to be with that. It's good. We're teaching our kids that. Some of us will have to parent ourselves. If we weren't, a lot of times from what I understand, it's very common that parents only allow certain emotions. In this household, you can be happy, and disappointed is going to be the furthest you're going to get towards anger or frustrated or anything, right? That there's only this many emotions we're going to allow here. And so if you were in a household like that, you might have to do some of that for yourself.
We are more comfortable with the emotions that our caregivers are comfortable with.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
We realize that, and then we have to open ourselves up to more things.
Makes sense. All right, Pam, you want to come up? You agree? So let's hear about that.
Yourself, I need props.
Okay, I love props. You can see I love props. I'm big on props. And Pam too, is a good friend of mine, and I've known her for many, many years, and I'm going to let her tell you about her background in this arena. I will tell you one thing, though. I'm so impressed, because she was actually, you were in class. We were in class together when you decided that you were going to go back to school. She was getting ready to retire, 37 years as an elementary school teacher at Gulfgate Elementary.
No.
Okay, not all there.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well, anyway, when she went back to school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
It's impressive.
I was 64 when I
64, she went back to school. I love it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No such thing as age. Have at it.
First thing I'm going to do is model one of the things I hope to share with you today, which is that we can reframe what we call our negative emotions into at least a little better feeling emotion. I don't believe there's such thing as negative emotions. I think there are emotions that make us really uncomfortable, and we don't like them. But we can lift our mood, or we can reframe our emotions. So I'm nervous. And I could do, what if they don't like me? What if I forget what I'm going to say? What if my notes drop and they go all over the floor? I could do that, couldn't I? I could absolutely do that. But on the way here, I said, I'm excited. I'm really enthusiastic. I can't wait to do this. What am I doing? I'm not lying to myself, maybe just a little bit, but I'm reframing. I'm reframing how I feel. People with anxiety, that's a helpful strategy / tool, is reframe it as enthusiasm or excitement. So I want to model that for you today, okay? Never mind that I couldn't get my contacts in this morning because my fingers were shaking, but you can go, oh, I'm so excited, I'm shaking. There's always a way, and that reminds me, I agree with absolutely everything everyone has said this morning, everything, and it all relates to emotions, every single bit of it does. I'm going to say the stuff about me real fast. Yes, 37 years, educator, loved it to the very last day. Swear to God, I loved it to the very last day. I had moments, but you want to feel good all the time, be around young people. It's amazing. And then I piddled around for a while. I knew I wanted to work. I knew I wasn't going to lunch and golf, because eating makes me fat, and I have no clue about golf. So I said, what are you going to do? 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 And I read all the time, and I remembered, oh my gosh, since I was this high, I thought about being a psychologist or in some way working with psychology because it fascinates me so much. So the universe, we all know, works in funny ways. A little postcard came in my mailbox one day about the Masters in Counseling program at Webster. So I went to see about it, and I did go back to school at 64. I've had a private practice for 10 years. I also have a certificate in expressive arts, and I have a certificate in master life coaching. So it just, it just kind of bloomed like it does, doesn't it? It just blooms when you take a baby step in this direction, then you take the next step, then you take the next step, and it just keeps going. One of the things I did that I absolutely loved when I was doing my state-required 1,500-hour internship, my favorite job I've ever had in my life, for which I was paid, are you ready? Correct, was working with women at Bridges in Bradenton. They're women who've been incarcerated around the state in hardcore, everything we've ever heard about prisons. But Bridges is a rehabilitative program, as I believe all prison programs should be. And I designed a self-esteem course because that's what they seem to lack the most. And I designed an expressive arts course, and I worked one-on-one with people, and I just absolutely loved it. Why? Because they were sponges. Sponges. Give me everything you got, and then give me some more. By way of tools, strategies, ways to live better, live more joyfully. So I totally love that. I work with recovering addicts. I do art. I can't call it therapy because art therapy is one-on-one, but we do art, and art is therapeutic. Best thing I've heard in the 6 years that I've done it, I heard just last Wednesday. I said to one of the guys, and some of them, I think, they don't tell me, I don't ask them. They tell me if they want to, but I think many of them have been court-ordered. And so there's some 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and your development is arrested at the time that you started using, so there's a lot of fifth graders in that group. I think often, what I learned teaching fifth graders, I can apply right here. But I said to him, because he always chooses to do an adult coloring page, and I said to him as we were cleaning up and no one else was in the room, Does coloring relax you? You ready for this? He said, it stops my racing thoughts. I'll never forget that. It stops my racing thoughts. I don't have racing thoughts unless something's going on in my life that's a situation that feels out of control, but I'm just so happy to know that. Okay, first thing I'd like you to do today is close your eyes if you're comfortable, and if you're not, focus on something. I want you to note how you feel in your body when I say these words. Feelings. Take note. Emotions. Take note. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. Think about what you felt, and maybe you could write it down later on today or share it with somebody who loves you a whole lot. Did you think of specific feelings? Joy and anger and sadness? Did you get immediately uncomfortable? Does the word feelings/emotions make you immediately uncomfortable? It's all feedback, isn't it? Our emotions are feedback. It's feedback. It's telling us something. If you're uncomfortable, this might be an area where you need some work. Did you say a little prayer? When I did this with myself, I said a little prayer of gratitude for the GPS system that my emotions are, because they let me know what's going on with me. What do I need to do? I have friends and acquaintances who say, you're always in a good mood. And that's just how they say it. I know Theresa, this happens to Theresa too. You're always in a good mood. Like, would you just stop it? But I only have two ways of looking at the world. It's either a great day or I'm going to make it a great day. And I share that with people, strangers. I love to share it with strangers because they go, oh, never thought of it that way. And what they're really saying is, I have a choice about the way that I feel about things. And you do. I'd like you to close your eyes again or focus on something. Take a deep breath. Most important thing we've done today. I want you to visualize or think about or feel about the way you want your emotional life to be. Do you want it to be more joyful? Do you want it to be more consistent? Someone mentioned waves today. Emotions are waves, and they are, but would you like it to be more consistent? Would you like to manage your emotions better, especially anger, the one that appears to me in counseling and in living to be the most difficult to manage? Would you prefer to have a more consistent way of dealing with your so-called uncomfortable emotions, or a stronger, more powerful way to live with them? Would you like to feel less anxious, less fearful, less worried? Would you like to feel more loving, more joyful, more peaceful? I'm going to be quiet for a minute while you think some more on those questions. Might want to write this down later today because you're learning about yourself all the time. Please open your eyes. I'm here today to tell you that you can feel better more consistently with nothing magical, consistent practice. Consistent practice. replacing a negative thought with a more positive thought. If you're down here, it's a long way to go, isn't it? You can't go, I'm depressed, to I feel joyful with that thought. You can pick a better thought. After that thought, you can pick a better thought. So I want you to repeat after me. I can choose a better thought, feeling. It's up to me. It really is. It really, truly is. And by the way, people don't do shit to us. We receive it that way. We don't have to receive it that way. We can receive it differently. We can. Let's think. Cut that person out of our life. Take a stand, make a boundary. All kinds of things we can do, but it doesn't happen to us. We choose. Oh, you all know that. The people in this room, I know, when you've successfully managed a negative emotion, you went, whoa, I can choose how I feel about this. I don't have to blame it on someone. Oh, best thing we can do for our emotional improvement, take responsibility for what we feel, and especially what we did about it. What we did about it. Your brain releases chemicals, but your mind decides what to do with them. I have a little acronym called It Does It For Me. Everybody say, it does it for me. More enthusiasm. It does it for me. DOES, the feel-good chemicals. Dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and serotonin. That's what we want. That's why there's so much addiction, because that's what it does. We can do that for ourselves. Cortisol, all familiar with that after a 2-year pandemic, is the one that causes us stress. You heard a lot of things from Hector that deal with stress. You know what deals with your stress. And if you don't, I invite you, no, I implore that you need to find out what helps my stress. What do I need to do, especially parents and people who are trying to caretake others. You have to take care of number one first, because then you're able to caretake. By the way, oxytocin is what a mother releases when she's breastfeeding her child and bonding with her child, and what, in general, women release after sex, and that's why they want to keep you around, and it may not happen as much in general with men, and that's why it's easy for them to hit the dusty road. So you might want to keep that in mind when you think about who you do and do not want to have sex with. Just a little aside. I'll tell you why I'm sharing that, because when I found that out, it was like, oh my gosh, that explains a whole lot of things to me. Okay. Dopamine is your brain's reward system. So that's why exercise, art, the things we do that cause us to feel that we've accomplished something make us feel better, because dopamine is our brain's reward system. Oxytocin, I just talked to you about. Endorphins are produced in response to stress and discomfort. Almost every therapist I know recommends exercise for depression. Guess what depressed people don't want to do? And isn't that sad? And that too, the things that make us feel better are simple, aren't they? They're simple, and intelligent, educated people want something complicated, don't they? If it's not hard, it can't be valuable. So most of the things that are going to make you feel better are simple, especially if you repeat them, and then they become automatic. I think my daily good mood is now just a habit. That's what I think. I think it's just a habit. Therefore, the converse, I hear my logic teacher, the opposite might just be a habit, something to think about. I need cue cards, people. Your brain is going to release cortisol and adrenaline, the hormones that create some uncomfortable feelings, but your mind can do something to overcome that, to change that, to lift that, to make it feel a little bit better. That's up to you, and that's why choice is so important. I recommend writing down what works for you. Write it down. Make a poster. Look at that. You don't have to put it out for the family to see. You can put it someplace where just you will see it. Put it on your phone. These are the things that make me feel better when I feel bad. Fairy Lane was talking about the waves and the ups and downs of life. Well, when we have a down, you go straight to your music. Straight to your music. I go straight to nature. One of my very favorites, and I want you to make a list, one of my very favorites, way up high on my list, is serve, serve, serve others. Win-win. I get out of myself, and I help another person. Yesterday I had a yard sale because I'm crazy that way. And a woman was looking at a box of folders that I had, and she was pulling out anything that had graph paper. Graph notebook, graph journal, graph anything. I said, you like graph paper, don't you? And not like that, that's like a kid. I said, you like graph paper, don't you? Eyes fill up, tears roll down her face. She said, I'm from the Ukraine. My children always did their schoolwork on graph paper, and I want them to have graph paper here. And then she grabs my hands. Thank you for your country. She grabs my partner's hands. Thank you for your country. I said, take the whole box. I said, look around here. If there's anything else you need, grab it. Here's my phone number. If I can help you with anything, please call me. Serve, serve. Look for the little miracles every day. They'll show up, and often you'll be able to help in some way. God bless her. She can't find a place to rent here. You all know that's right. So say a spiritual mind treatment for her. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, 3 books that have helped me a bunch. The Power of Neuroplasticity. Brene Brown. Kim mentioned her last week. Emotional Intelligence. I needed that book and still need that book because I am very emotional and I can be very emotionally unintelligent. Thank you.
You know what I love?
Glad that's over.
You know what I absolutely love is I told the board before we opened our doors, I told the board, I'm going to talk about everything. There's nothing off the table. Because if we believe what we teach, that everything is God, it's all this infinite invisible coming into form and peopling and expressing all over the place, then nothing's off the table. Nothing's off the table. So we're going to talk about sex, we're going to talk about emotions, we're going to talk about money, we're going to talk about all these things, right? Because it's all God in expression. And I love that. Thank you, Pam. I love that. Exactly what, I feel like everything you said, the tools, the strategies, that's what Science of Mind is. Choice, self-responsibility. I started off by talking about discipline and self-responsibility. To me are loving words. They're loving words. The best way I can show up for myself is to be disciplined, to take a higher idea every time I need to. That's self-love. There's such an alignment. And Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, The Science of Mind, looked through, used psychology, philosophy, the truth that runs through all religions, none of them were off the table, and that's what we do. That's what we do. So thank you so much, Camille and Pam. Thank you. That was just fabulous, right? Fabulous. Go ahead with the song
to
there.
say that
Yeah.
Pam has the best garage sales, and I wish I had known. I would have been there yesterday. Okay, really. And Camille said that we have to learn empathy as children, how important it is to learn that. And I have a song here about empathy, and it's called Feel Into the Heart. So if you want to put your hand on your heart, you can. And it talks about the heart knows the way. The heart knows the way. Have a little empathy, have a little sympathy, feel into your heart. That's where our divinity reaches through infinity when we feel into the heart. Now is the time for the changes to be made right from wherever we are. What we hold in mind brings about in kind when we feel into the sacred heart. Have a little empathy, have a little sympathy, feel into your heart. That's where our divinity reaches through infinity when we feel into the heart. The heart knows the way, it's the truth and the light. It's our guiding star deep within. The mind tells us what, the heart gives us why. No better time than now to begin to have a little empathy, have a little sympathy, feel into your heart. That's where our divinity reaches through infinity when we feel into the heart. When we feel into the heart, when we feel into the sacred heart. All right, thank you.
I love finding that synergy that just happens here, right? It just happens. Just happens. I am so incredibly beyond grateful for that. Thank you, Elaine. Great. Rev G is on a 5-week vacation. Woo! Cruising in Europe on a cruise. Woo! Yeah, so I'm going to ask for your money today. I'm doing the offering. And I so appreciate him. I appreciate all that he is with us and for us. And I'm so excited for him and Deborah to get to go on this cruise. And I just want to share a little, I don't know the details, but something happened in the planning of their trip. And it was a big deal. They had to spend an extra like 15 hours or something in Boston or wherever they were going to head from. And something happened with the itinerary and got messed up. And so he and Deborah take a breath. They're both ministers of the science mind, you know? So they take a breath. They know truth. They know that something's going to be revealed to them. They got a personal chef for the entirety of their cruise. A butler, personal chef. Right, in exchange for 15 hours extra in Boston. Well, I don't know about you, but that is abundance, that is prosperity, that is knowing truth, and that's what we teach here, right? That's what we teach. Yeah, amen. Thank you. Amen. So, this is our time of giving. Just know that same abundance for you. Know that the power of your mind, the ability to control your emotions, to funnel all of that energy, which is coming from an infinite source, into your life. It has that ability in your finances when you know that. When you know it. So this is your time of giving and sharing to help support this ministry and what we're all about, and to make sure our technology works every Sunday. Yeah. So they're going to pass the baskets, and people at home, there's a little ticker tape going across your screen, all the ways that you can give. And Bobby, we're going to sing our offering song.
Yes, we are. I receive the gift of life and pass it on.
Infinite energy.
I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Just a few quick announcements. Yes, I have been told I'm too bright, that the joy is too much. I've got a class starting next month. I'm very excited about it. Mid-June. I don't have the exact date because I'm going to do a training on the class before I teach it. It was one of the classes I took when at Center for Positive Living eons ago, called The Power of Decision, based on Raymond Charles Barker's book, The Power of Decision. It is a powerful, powerful book and class. But they've updated it, and they have a new workbook with it, and so I'm very excited about that. But we're going to start with that because our ability to make decisions for ourselves, sometimes we waffle, and I think there's a fear of failure in that waffling. So this is really going to help us. And then after that, that's mid-June, then after that in September, we're going to start our 2-year rounds of classes again. And I'm really looking forward to teaching again. It's something I just truly love to do. So curriculum starts in the fall, and the power of decision is going to help you decide whether you want to jump on board with that. And of course, you can just do one class at a time, so there's no big commitment there. Stay up to date on all of this with our newsletter. And I understand that like Elaine just told me that she hasn't been getting it. Well, it looks like it's sending out to her. Then I went and looked at it closer, and she had unsubscribed. Now, I know she didn't do it. So some glitch was in there. So just pay attention. If you're not getting the newsletter, let us know. You're going to have to resubscribe yourself. I can't, for obvious reasons, keep putting you back on when you're taking yourself off. So with that, you can go to our website. The best place is really Facebook because it's automatic when you sign up on Facebook. And prayer. You know, we believe in the power of prayer. Don't.
Yes, we do. That's why I was still hanging around up here.
I know. Go ahead. Tell them about that.
But you can say it too. We believe in the power of prayer. This prayer works. So if you would like prayer support, there's a lot of ways to get it.
I manifested him.
You can email. I'm flustered now. Am I blushing? You can email prayer at cslculturalcoast.org and ask for prayer support that way. You can fill out one of the forms that's on the table over there and ask for prayer support that way. Or today, you can come right up to me and ask me for like a 5-minute prayer right here if you'd like. And
Cindy's here.
Oh, and
And
Cindy
Elaine's
is
here.
also here. Well, Elaine's going to be busy with her merch back
that's
there,
true.
so she may not be available.
Okay.
So anyway, we believe in prayer, and if you'd like prayer support, let us know.
Thank you for being here. We're going to let Elaine close us out. Thank you, each and every one of you. And if I don't know you, come say hi. I'll be outside.
All right, this is going to make everybody feel something. And I think you all know this song. It's real short, so we'll do it a couple of times. More than a couple, I think. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. And again, how could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. We're going to do it 2 more times. This time we're going to sing it in the first person. How could anyone ever tell me? How dare them? How could anyone ever tell me I was anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell me I was less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that my loving is a miracle? How deeply I'm connected to my soul. Can everybody stand up? We're going to do one little process the last time. We're going to look around the room and sing it to each other. Look around. Don't just find one person, but get some eye contact. Here we go. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Yes, how deeply you're connected to my